So today I was reflecting over the last 9 years and that I've been living back and forth between Italy and in the United States. And for those of you who don't know, I also grew up in Japan originally, and I didn't come to Italy until the eve of my 16th birthday, which really sucked, by the way, because in August, everything is shut down. Usually in August and September is when I don't know if it's for all of Europe, correct me if I'm wrong. Usually in Italy in August and September is when a lot of people go on their summer vacation. And so most businesses are closed, and usually attractions like maybe Gardaland or places like that are open. But at the time we had just moved to Italy, so we were still getting settled and everything. It just wasn't like ideal for your sweet 16, but my mom was, you know, a champ, and obviously she took me out and took me to do things. I wasn't like, you know, I wasn't like stuck in a hotel room necessarily, but it just wasn't like what you picture when you think when you're turning 16 in Italy, you know? But anyway, I digress. So today I wanted to talk about how Italy and Japan together, but mostly Italy, ruined me from moving back to America, which is, for example, one of the biggest ones I think is most noticeable is bowing. Is something that I've always done since a child because that's just part of like Japanese culture. Typically, like when you're, especially to show respect, especially to your elders, you do bow at people. And so I tended to carry that with me when I moved from Japan to Italy, and then even afterwards when I moved to the States, because I feel like it's almost like muscle memory. It's so ingrained in me that I just like, can't let go. But definitely with having lived in Italy for so long and like having so much business here going back and forth, and then being married to an Italian, there's a lot of traits that I've picked up that have just become a part of who I am and my everyday activities that I want to share with you guys today, and how maybe for those of you who want to move to Italy or want to come to Italy can make you feel a little bit more Italian. We're gonna start off with talking about hand gestures. So there are a lot of different hand gestures. The most famous ones, this one for those of you who probably are familiar with maybe Italian shows or a lot of this, or also doing like, you know, I don't care. There's tons of different hand gestures, and one of the things that I love about hand gestures in Italy is that I feel like personally they add a lot of creativity and a lot of color and a lot of level of interest to the conversation for me, that I feel like I'm more involved and that there's a lot more charisma happening with the conversation and that there's just a lot more going on. So to put this in perspective of maybe even business culture, lingo, Italy is more of a low context culture. Oops, sorry guys, I meant to say high context. The same, similar to like Japan. And in America, we're more low context as far as like the cultural context and when we're communicating. And so in Italy, there's a lot more within that is inferred language. Same thing with Japan. There's a lot more inferred language which comes from your body language. Whereas in America, things are, you know, you mean what you say. So things are said more with words rather than with gestures. But also it brings another meaning to the term say less, or, you know, actions speak louder than words, because when you're driving and maybe you're upsetting someone by a turn you took or a stop you took and they're doing this, or like, oh my God, or, you know, making all these gestures in the car, they don't even have to say anything because you already know they're upset. Okay, so now let's get into words. The first one is albiocco, and then we have allora e boh. Abbiocco, I just started using really this year. I don't know why I'm late on this bandwagon, but it's actually something that we do have in the US in our lingo, which is like the itis. Okay, so abbiocco is basically meaning the itis. It's when you've eaten a lot and you're so full and you just feel like tired, you cannot do anything anymore, you just want to lay down and relax and let your food digest maybe, or just like not do anything for the rest of the day because you've eaten so much. And then allora is kind of just saying so, and then boh is kind of like I don't know. But it can, these two words, I love to use them a lot because they can act as fillers in your sentences. And that's something that, like, I don't know, I just really appreciate having those extra words to fill in sentences when I don't have something else to say or a way to finish a sentence, or I'm really not sure, or also the perpetual you know, when you don't have an answer to something. Well, these are just things that now are just a part of the way that I talk and the way that I interact with people. And I think it's just because so many years being embedded in a language and a culture plays such a large part in like the way that I interact when I'm in the US, even despite the fact that like everyone around me is speaking English. And of course, you know, we do have subcultures in the US, just like any other place in the world, but still there is the overlying general American culture, and that the things that we celebrate are like our belief systems that create our laws and things of that nature. And so there is kind of a general way that we socialize, a kind of identity that we have, like an independence that we have, that is just a little bit different when you're going experiencing the culture, like Italian culture, Japanese culture, and so on and so forth. But now we're moving out of words and we're going back into like objects. So sidewalks. Yes, I know I'm beating this like a dead horse. Is that the phrase? So the actual phrase is, I know I'm beating it like a dead horse. Wait, no, I'm beating a dead horse. Never mind. Anyway, I know that I say this a lot, is the point, and it can't be truer than any other time that I've said it before. Having bike lanes and sidewalks. Actually, I wish I had footage of this. When we got married in Denmark, we spent a couple of days there per the law, blah, 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 blah. But they have an actual raised separate sidewalk just for bikers that's opposite of the actual walking sidewalk, which I thought was super cool. And I find them really valuable because I like to be able to not always have to take my car everywhere just to get a coffee, just to get breakfast, just to see a friend. I want to be able to walk to the next town if I want to, or bike over there. You know, having that mobility I think is so important. I think it's something that like I got really excited about when I was living in Atlanta, for example, when they built the Beltline. I was like, oh my gosh, finally we have sidewalks, we have, you know, mobility, even though it's not finished and there's a lot of controversy around it being finished. But yeah, I just really want us to like normalize walking. Now going into my next point, markets. So I talked about this in my other videos. If you want to go back to my other previous videos before current times, I was going and like taking videotapes of markets and like how the markets work and such, so on and so forth. Definitely go and check those out so you can see what it normally looks like. But I am a market fan. I love the accessibility of fresh fruits and vegetables. And it goes beyond just accessing food. It's even like clothing, or trinkets and other useful things for the household, home goods, things like that you can access at the markets. It's not like a flea market, okay? So I know that for some of us, we may be thinking of it, if we've never experienced it before, like a flea market. It is not like that. It is people who are specialized in their crafts, specialized in whatever it is that they produce, and selling that at a market as opposed to selling it just in their store. A lot of times stores, like bigger brands, will come to the markets to sell their goods, and it's just something much of a big community event. Like each town will have their own market that may be smaller than like your bigger markets. Like here we have Camisano's market, and we have the one in downtown Vicenza and Piazza dei Signori, which is really big, and a lot of big names come out there to sell their products, and usually they have them at a minimum 3 times a week. You know, at least every Sunday there's going to be a market, but those usually are for food. And then, you know, every Thursday I think the one in Vicenza has their big market. So there's lots of opportunities to get a lot of good fresh produce and good quality clothing, nice linens in the summer, things like that. And it's, like I said, a big community event. They usually have food trucks out there. Sometimes they have performers out there. This goes into just their festivals, just generally speaking, because there is a season for everything as well in Italy, which is something that I've learned to appreciate. But I know for a lot of Americans, it's difficult to adjust to that when coming to Italy. You're used to having everything on demand, but here you have to wait for the asparagus season, wait for strawberry season, things like that. And then you also even have chocolate festivals that are really popular that happen usually in October. And so those are really fun events. But like I said, there's usually other things happening at the event that attract people to hang out there and just make a whole daily event about it. And so I love going to the market because I like going and breathing the fresh air and doing my shopping. Well, that is all I have for you guys today. If you like this video and want to hear more, definitely like and subscribe and write me in the comments below. I will create more content for you guys. If this is something that you guys want to keep hearing me talk about, or you enjoy it, or you don't like it, I don't know, let me know. If you disagree or agree with any of the things that I've talked about in this video, definitely, again, hit up that comment section below and let me know your thoughts and opinions. If you have any other gestures or things that make you feel more Italian that you've experienced after living here or visiting here, that you've incorporated into your life, maybe it be language or just activities that you do. Maybe it's like superstitions that are really, to me, really fun and interesting to learn about. Definitely hit me up and let me know. If you want to learn more about what I do daily and just kind of follow me along my journeys in my everyday life, definitely hit up my Instagram. My Instagram handle is below in the description box. Well, thank you guys again for following me on my journey and listening to this video. If you want to share with other people and maybe start a conversation, feel free to do that. And I'll see you guys next time. Ciao for now.